Welcome to Durbania Live. So glad to see so many of you already in the live chat. Here to say thank you for 8,000. And of course, knowing me, I probably hit that a little bit early, but you know what? That happens to the best of us. So thank you all so much for joining me here in the comments. And I can't wait to dive into, all of you that are here right now. I'm so excited. So let's get those questions going. It's a question and answer session. And I just want to say thank you all for subscribing, for watching. To all of you right now that are here joining me for this, thank you so much for being a part of this live stream and being a part of this channel. One thing I want to thank here real quick is my patrons. So Lynn there is a new patron. Thank you so much, Lynn, for subscribing and being a patron of Durbania. I want to say thank you to Aaron White and Janelle Rogers, Film Trigger, my friend Stevie over there. So definitely check out his channel. Brian, the Crazy Hedgehog Lady, Tina Ann, Angela Maxwell, Jeremy Hobbs, Rachel Wagner. Check out Rachel Reviews. We've done a lot of really cool things together, and it's been a lot of fun. Sarah Hicks, and of course, Cody Leach. And he and I have also done a lot of really great things together. So thank you to everybody that supports Durbania, that has been a part of Durbania from the very beginning. I mean, seriously, there are just so many people to thank. So I just want to say thank you all so much. That's going to be the theme here. I'm scrolling through the comments. I'm here first, Durbania. Congratulations, man. Well, thank you so much. Falcon B says congrats and well-deserved. So thank you so much. And Aaron Johnson, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that. And Jacob, thank you for that. Congratulations. What up, Dale? How you doing? Thank you for that. Congratulations. Let's see. What's up, Zachary? Hello there, Durbania. I'm a big fan of your channel. Congrats on 8,000 subs. Thank you so much, Zachary. I'm a fan right there of that Batman picture you got. That's pretty cool. Hey, something else new that I've done that I've never done before. I actually turned on the super chats. That's actually something that should be available, but there's no pressure at all to use that. But just letting you know, it now exists. What is up? And well, that's my wife who's in the other room. Too busy playing a video game to join me in here. Oh, she just yelled, jerk. What's up, Dale? Oh my gosh, there's so many of you already in here. So I'm super excited. So again, 8,000 subs. That's incredible. Definitely could not have done that without you. You guys are the best community ever. So diving right into, hello, Brian. How are you doing? And here's my first question. What is your Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man... What is your favorite? Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man Far From Home? I'd go with Spider-Man Far From Home. That is definitely my favorite live-action Spider-Man movie. I like Spider-Man 2. Of the Sam Raimi trilogy, which I think I've made a lot of people mad by admitting the sad truth that I never really connected to the Raimi trilogy. It's not that it's bad. I mean, great cast and all that. I just never really connected to it. But of that trilogy, Spider-Man 2 is my favorite. I really like Spider-Man 2 of that. But if you're asking what is my favorite Spider-Man movie, it's definitely Far From Home. Well, live action movie, it's Far From Home. Probably favorite Spider-Man movie is Into the Multiverse. That one's just so creative. Let's see here. Dimension Scott says, wow, what's your wife playing? Hey, Laura, what's the name of the game you're playing? I forget. Okay, the Phoenix Rising on Nintendo Switch. So she's battling Greek gods and all kind. Well, no, she's saving Greek gods and battling titans and all kinds of crazy creatures. So that's what she's playing right now on the Nintendo Switch. Hey, Sean, thank you so much for joining me with this. Congratulations, Durbin. Love your channel, man. Fun content that I can relate with. Dude, thank you so much. I really appreciate that because that's one of the big goals of anybody doing a YouTube channel, right, is to make sure that it's relatable to whoever is watching. Oh, here we go. Falcon and the Winter Soldier or WandaVision in DC or Marvel. All right, so that first part there, I'm going to go with WandaVision barely. I really did like the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I love the action in Falcon and Winter Soldier. But I feel like as a series, WandaVision did a good job hooking me. I mean, I was really angry in those first 3 episodes, but then when that 4th episode came and we got the behind the curtains view of everything that was going on and it felt more Marvel, it worked backwards. And now I go back and watch those 3 episodes and I catch all kinds of things. So I think because of that, I'd go WandaVision, but like just barely, because I like both quite a bit. And DC or Marvel. Well, I'm a DC fan through and through. Now I have a wall dedicated to both because I really like both. And let's just be honest. If it's a Marvel movie, they're killing it. The MCU is absolutely amazing, but I am a huge DC fan and I love DC stories. DC's knocking it out of the park with their animated movies, and I think Zack Snyder's Justice League is absolutely amazing. And yes, Dale, Immortals Phoenix Rising. Cody Leach streamed that on Twitch a while ago. It looked fun. Did he really? I bet he streamed it, though, on his PS5. Still have not gotten a PS5 yet. Anyway, it is a fun game. So we got it on the Nintendo Switch, and we got a lot more out of it than we thought we were going to get. I just thought the trailer for that game looked pretty funny, and I just saw it at the store, so picked it up, and cannot stop playing. Brian says, I like DC way more than Marvel. Now, are you talking about like the comic world or the movie world? I agree with you. I like DC way more than Marvel, but objectively, it's hard to say because the MCU is doing such a great job right now with all of their movies. Let's see. I was hoping Laura would be playing Minecraft. No, we do not have Minecraft. Our nieces and nephews absolutely love Minecraft. Let's see here. Michael asked, Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone? I'd probably pick Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think growing up, he was probably my favorite action star and had more of the action movies that I love, but I do like Sylvester Stallone, especially now that I've grown up, gone back and rewatched a few of those Rocky movies. I still haven't seen them all, but I've seen Rocky and Rocky 2, and I love Sylvester Stallone in those. I'm looking forward to him being in The Suicide Squad as King Shark, and I was going to say something else about, Demolition Man. I mean, that's just forever a classic. I mean, how on earth do those 3 seashells work? Do I even want to know how the 3 seashells work? And if somebody knows how they work, don't tell me. Don't kill it. Let's see. What's your favorite Jurassic Park sequel? Thank you so much, Caden, for that question. My favorite Jurassic Park sequel is Jurassic World. I mean, nothing could ever beat the original. Just because of my movie experience, seeing that when I was 9 years old for the first time on the big screen, it was absolutely incredible. By the way, let me throw this out here. If I miss your question and you really want me to answer it, feel free to keep posting it. And I think the super chat's turned on. So if you really want to make sure I see it, it will glow a color if you use the super chat. So just tossing that stuff out there, but don't give up. If I accidentally skip over your question and you really, really want to hear my answer. So yeah, Jurassic World is probably my favorite sequel. I mean, I don't know. The 2 sequels that came before were kind of like, they're fine, but they're not great. But Jurassic World restored the magic for me. Let's see here. Movie Fan 320. What is your favorite of the new Pixar movies from the past 5 years? Oh my gosh, the past 5 years. I got to think what has been the past 5. What did you say? My wife is awesome. I don't know how much you can hear her yelling in the back, but yeah, definitely Incredibles 2. Still not better than the original Incredibles. That's the original one is better. I'm trying to think, what were the last ones? A lot of Disney things that came out recently. I got to think about that. Let's see. What is your favorite of the new Pixar movies from the past 5 years? Well, I guess since Incredibles 2 is the only one coming to my mind, it's got to be that one. Found a couple on Disney Plus that I enjoyed that are not the last 5 years, like, the dinosaur one. That was pretty good. I enjoyed that. Let's see. Ever played Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions? Fun multiverse game with 4 Spider-Men. I have not played that, but I love Spider-Man games, so I definitely appreciate that recommendation, though. I got to get a new system, man. I mean, I got a Nintendo Switch, and I do love that Switch, but the most recent PS I have is a PS3. Let's see here. Dimension Scott. I made it past 5 seasons of Smallville. Now I think I will find all seasons on DVD and Blu-ray so I can binge watch more before something else happens to the streams. That's a good idea. You never, it's on Hulu right now. It's been on Hulu for a long time. You might be safe, but honestly, you never know how long it's going to be there. I predict if it leaves Hulu, it's going to go to HBO Max because they got all the DC stuff, which I'd be fine with, but that's because I got HBO Max. But yeah, your safest bet, buy the hard copies. It's a fantastic show, and I love the first 5 seasons. So, oh, hey, thank you so much. Hot Take for Nerds. Congratulations on the 8K Durbin. Hey, go check out Hot Takes for Nerds and subscribe to his channel. It's an excellent channel, and I got to go on there and defend Man of Steel. So he lives up to his name. He like comes up with these awesome hot takes. I don't know who Ali Koch is, so I'm going to have to go with Bruce Wayne on that one. The Dragon Critic, a.k.a. Lee O Brien. Congratulations, Durbin. Thank you so much. I love both Marvel and DC World. I'm rooting for DC to get some more great films. I love many of what they've done, and Snyder's films have grown on me, but I definitely am rooting for better DC films. Sean, I think I'm in the same boat as you. I don't think I ever truly disliked the Snyder films. I was always kind of disappointed in Batman vs. Superman, and then I saw the Ultimate Edition, and I was a little bit less disappointed in it. And then we got the Snyder Cut, and I got a better idea of the emotion and the direction and why Snyder made some of the choices he made, and that kind of deepens my respect. But as a whole, I agree. I love the DCEU, and I long for them to get better films. I do have maybe too high, but high hopes for this new Flash movie. Unfortunately, it's not for the Flash at all. It's because Michael Keaton is in there. How many of you are excited to have Michael Keaton return as Batman? Oh my gosh. I am beyond excited to have Michael Keaton return and see what happened to him since Batman Returns. Because let's be honest, Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, they're an alternate universe. They are not. They can't be sequels to Batman Returns. What's your opinion on the first 2 Dino Thunder episodes? I haven't watched them yet. So my opinion is I do want to watch them, and I'm going to have to check them out. Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street are Friday the 13th. Oh my gosh. Okay. I haven't seen Friday the 13th yet. Halloween, if you're talking that original one from like the 70s, that was really good. And I would pick that over Nightmare on Elm Street. Though I did enjoy Nightmare on Elm Street and ended up doing a pretty fun theological analysis with it. So that's definitely worth your time to check out. Let's see. What are your favorite future plans? Oh, what are your favorite future plans? Can Durbin read today? Maybe, maybe not. What are your future plans for your channel? You know, that is always a good question. I don't know. Right now, the plan is keep doing what I'm doing. I love producing these theological analyses. I love producing fun ranking videos, like ranking Marvel, ranking the DCEU, ranking the Monsterverse. Like a lot of that stuff is a lot of fun. And so I'm brainstorming lots of different ideas and lots of potential things. And I'm setting some new goals for myself. So I'm in the process of doing that. I'm in the process of brainstorming. But the heart of this channel is always going to be the heart of this channel. I love talking about movies, and what I love to do is find those theological themes in movies. So you will always see those theological analyses or theological reviews where I love to pull that out in just the review. So all of that gonna be sticking around 100%. Awesome guy 135. I bet that guy's an awesome guy. Have you watched the new show Invincible yet? I have not. No, I have not watched that new show yet. I was trying to think. I just started watching, I think it's called Shadow and Bone on Netflix. So I just got through the first 2 episodes. I'm ashamed of myself when it's on Netflix and it's all there. I usually binge it so fast. That has not been the case, but I really enjoy the first few episodes of that. But no, I don't think I've checked out Invincible yet. What streaming service is that on? I'll have to look into that one. Let's see. I think I scrolled up too fast. There we go. Who are your 3 favorite superheroes? Superman, Batman, Green Lantern. And Green Lantern not coming from the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie. I'm just talking about like the character. He is an awesome character. And I love how they portrayed him in the Earth 1 graphic novels. It's definitely worth your time to check out. Throwing in at number 4 there, I'd probably say Spider-Man. And I really do enjoy Tony Stark from the MCU. Like Robert Downey Jr. is fantastic in that. Favorite X-Men movies. Okay. So if I had to pick probably my favorite of the X-Men movies is Days of Future Past. And I just saw the Rogue cut, probably about 6 months ago for the first time. Really enjoyed that. So both versions of Days of Future Past are really good to me. So those would be my favorite, followed up by X-Men 2, Like that one is just incredibly good and first class. So I think those would be my top three favorite of the X-Men movies. Thoughts on Spider-Man 3? For me, not nearly as bad as people say it is. So I assume you're referring to the Sam Raimi Spider-Man 3. I don't like it. I feel like it's too cluttered. But the one thing that I really do like about it is it really does a great job showing Tobey Maguire have to forgive the bad guy that is responsible for the death of his uncle. And you see, that's just something that he's been dealing with and has been eating him up all this time, even though in his own mind, he thought he's already killed the guy who has killed his uncle. The moment somebody says, actually, the real killer's still out there, you see that anger, you see that vengeance, you see all of that flare up. And so what I love about this Spider-Man 3 is that he really has to deal with that and he's got to forgive. And so I think that's a cool moment at the end when he learns to forgive, and also the whole thing between Harry and Peter where they also got to forgive each other. So like it has a really good forgiveness theme to it. Even if I don't like the rest of it, I don't like how they wasted Venom. I thought it was pretty cheesy, but that forgiveness theme is something I'm always going to deeply respect out of that movie. Since Jurassic Park is your all-time favorite movie, dude, you pay attention to my channel very good, don't you? It is my all-time favorite. Is your all-time favorite movie? What's your all-time least favorite movie? I'm going to go with The Apple. I have a review of that on my channel. Just type Urbania The Apple. Cody Leach joined me in that. We suffered through that together. I'm going to go with that is my least favorite movie. Let's see, Brian, Snyder Cut or the Avengers movie? Now, if you're referring to the first Avengers movie versus the Snyder Cut, then I'm going to pick the Snyder Cut. That's hard to do, though, because it's like apples and oranges, because I love the first Avengers movie because it really just follows the tone of Avengers. It's light, it's happy, it's fun, and they did a great job taking all of those characters and bringing them together in this movie, showing the shared universe model could work. I love the Snyder Cut, though, because it didn't try to follow that pattern. It really kind of did its own thing. It followed Snyder's vision, and it was true to the tone of the first two movies, but you could tell that it's building to a lighter place, especially when in Batman vs. Superman, Batman is just so bitter and angry, and he's feeling powerless, and it's turning him cruel. And now in Snyder Cut, he's talking about faith. It's faith, Alfred, faith. And so you really see a change in Bruce Wayne, and you see that change in direction. So I think I'm going to go with Snyder Cut, even though that's really hard. Now, if you had asked me whether it's in-game or the Snyder Cut, you might have watched my brain freeze right here on camera. Okay, DreamWorks or Disney/Pixar? I'm going to go probably with Pixar. DreamWorks, though, has knocked some good stuff out of the park. Like, I love the first Kung Fu Panda, and oh, man, it's hard. But, yeah, I think overall I would go with Pixar because they managed to consistently make more and more movies that engage me all the time and make me feel things that maybe I don't want to feel, especially when I'm watching a fun animated movie. Hello, awesome guy. Have you watched Coco yet? I think it's the best of what Pixar has done from the past 10 years. I have watched Coco. I think I watched it for the first time about a year ago when Disney Plus first dropped. So I enjoyed it. It's probably not my favorite of the Pixar movies, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was a very good movie, very interesting theme, very cool, like look in the afterlife. In fact, I might have to go back. Maybe that could be a really good theological analysis because there's something there to dig deeper into. So I do enjoy that. What's your favorite Batman comic story? Let's see. It's been a long time since I've read The Long Halloween, but I do remember liking that. I think currently, though, I'm going to go with Batman Earth 1. They only got 2 volumes of it out. It's not complete, but it is a very unique take on just the origins of Batman and some of his villains. And so Earth 1 does a very good job of taking what we're familiar with and doing something different with it. So, hey, what's up? The J-Man's Movie Cave. Congrats, Durbin. Thank you so very much. Let's see. Dimension Scott, how many times have you watched the Snyder Cut? I watched it 5 times. That's like 20 hours, right? Yeah, that's like 20 hours. I think I've watched it 4 times straight through. But I do have my favorite scenes and my favorite moments. And so I go through and I watch a lot of my favorite action sequences out of that, or my favorite, like, emotional scenes. Like, for instance, that moment where they're all gathered around the table and they realize what this mother box can do, how it can take smoke and turn it back into the house, how it reinstates. Then the Man of Steel music, it begins to fade up slowly in the flashes. I know we're all thinking it. I'm not going to say it, but we're all thinking it. Love moments like that. Yes, I am jacked to see Keaton's Batman return. Dude, I'm so excited to see Keaton's Batman return. I feel bad for Ezra Miller. I mean, it's not that I think he does a bad job as Flash. He does a great job, but I agree. I'm just so excited to have Michael Keaton return. Did you see the set photos for Keaton's Wayne Manor for the Flash movie? I saw them. Like, I didn't like zoom in on them, but I was kind of scrolling through and I saw and I was like, there it is. That's the Wayne Manor that I recognize from the 1989 Batman movie. Hilarious. It hasn't changed at all. So I'm pretty excited to see that. I'm iffy personally on this Flash movie, LOL. It has an opportunity to mention both the theatrical and Snyder cut of Justice League. They're not going to take that opportunity. I think they have made that very clear. Aliens or Terminator 2 Judgment Day. I'm going to go with Terminator 2 Judgment Day, but that's a tough call because I really like Aliens. That was really good, but that Terminator sequel, I got to tell you, was pretty awesome. Godzilla vs. Kong or Batman v Superman extended cut. Oh, that really depends on if I want to think or not. If I don't want to think or dig deep into anything, Godzilla vs. Kong. It is a dumb movie, and it is so good. I really enjoyed it, had so much fun, but it is dumb. So that's great if I don't want to think and I want to watch monsters fight. Batman v Superman, I feel like I find something different every time. So when I'm watching that movie, it engages me a whole lot more here. What are your expectations for Dino Thunder? As in, what do you expect from it when you get to watch it? Let's see. I don't know. It's been a long time since I watched the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and that was my Power Ranger show growing up. So I didn't catch all the other offshoots that they did. So I guess my greatest expectation for Dino Thunder would be if it's as good as I remember Mighty Morphin's Power Rangers being, then yeah. Let's see here. Thoughts on the Bible miniseries that came out a few years ago. I thought that Bible miniseries that came out a few years ago was pretty good. I think my biggest problem with it is it was such a airplane view sailing over everything that it just, I don't know. Like I didn't know a quality I was missing with that miniseries until I started watching The Chosen. The Chosen picked a time frame and it has dived into it. And The Chosen's all about, Jesus and the disciples, and it's incredible. So it picked that time frame. It's taking its time with that and it's connecting me to all of those characters. So the Bible miniseries that came out a few years ago, it isn't bad. And it's got a lot of really good stuff in it. Like one of the things I love is when it shows the Holy Spirit coming down in tongues of fire in the upper room with the disciples. I think that's an incredible scene. I also love the Sodom and Gomorrah scene where you have the angel and the fire's raining down, and almost like slow motion, this angel reaches back and pulls out his double swords. Like it has a lot of really cool moments in it, but it feels like it's such an airplane view. It kind of missed some of the detail that I think I would like to have seen. What's your most anticipated MCU project? I'm going to go with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I mean, it's the MCU. They've earned the right to take my money, but that one seems to be the most interesting to me. And honestly, I just really was such a fan of Doctor Strange. Both Marvel and DC have some interesting films, though I lean more towards DC. Marvel does have interesting films, but I can't consider most of their Brie Larson I can't consider most of the Brie Larson Captain Marvel films part of canon. Yeah, I get what you're saying. They started filming the sequel, I think. So I'm going to wait until we get that sequel and see what they do with it. I don't hate that Captain Marvel movie. I think it's fun. I do wish they would quit doing flashbacks. Because I don't know. I just go forward. Go forward. Spider-Man 3 also has the theme of obsession. Peter Parker and Eddie Brock both become obsessed with the symbiote, but only Peter is able to overcome his deception. Yes, forgiveness and obsession, like that. Some cool themes in that movie. It's still not my favorite, but it does have some really good themes in there. Invincible is a new animated... Oh! I watched the first episode of that. I don't know why I didn't connect it. Yes, I do plan to watch more of that. I watched the first episode, and you should have. I won't spoil it here, but I will tell you when Laura and I were watching that first episode and it got to that ending, we were like silent for a full minute as our jaws hit the floor, like, what just happened? So, Shadow and Bone and Invincible are two shows that I really got to get into the binging mode of because that was quite the hook they put at the end of Invincible. So, yeah, thank you for that reminder. Was Jared Leto Joker redeemed in the Snyder Cut? After what I saw, I got to see more of that. I think he's redeemed in the sense that I do want to see more of that. I'm still not super impressed with what I saw in Suicide Squad, but yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. So yeah, I kind of would be curious to see more of him, but yeah. Thank you, Jeremy Hobbs. I appreciate that. Congratulations. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. Would you like to see a Kung Fu Panda 4? No. I really liked Kung Fu Panda. I liked Kung Fu Panda 3, and I'm just sort of lukewarm on... Wait, no, I got that. I like Kung Fu Panda. I like Kung Fu Panda 2, and I'm lukewarm on Kung Fu Panda 3. I don't hate it, just a little lukewarm. Hey, Joel, what's up? Hey, Durbin, love your channel. You got me started on C.S. Lewis's Space Trilogy. I'm slowly making it through, but I like it. Thank you. So if you guys haven't checked out the videos I've done on C.S. Lewis's Space Trilogy, or if you're more familiar with C.S. Lewis because of his nonfiction writings and Narnia, he did this trilogy called The Space Trilogy, and it is epic. It's C.S. Lewis diving into sci-fi, and it is so incredibly good. So, Joel, I'm glad that I could introduce you to those books. They are fascinating. I think the first book is very slow-paced, but it is very interesting. The second book, it's so incredibly good. So the first book, he goes to Mars. Second book, the character goes to Venus. And then the third book, it's deep. Oh my gosh. The stuff that happens in that third book is just deep. So hello, Sean. Thoughts on The Incredible Hulk 2008 film? My fave MCU film, unpopular opinion, but I ain't a massive comic book fan except Batman and Spider-Man. Yeah, okay, that's the one that came out the same summer as Iron Man. I like it. I mean, I thought The Incredible Hulk was a very good movie. I mean, it's not the best in the MCU, but I thought Edward Norton did a great job as Bruce Banner. I was almost scared when they switched it to Mark Ruffalo, but now I love Mark Ruffalo, and he definitely fits the Hulk for where it's gone. But I think, oh my gosh, Edward Norton. Can you believe it? I just said his name and then it jumped out of my head just that fast. But I think he did a great job as Bruce Banner. I kind of like the grittiness of this movie, The Incredible Hulk. So it kind of has like a different feel than a lot of the other MCU movies. So overall, I really liked it and I thought they did a great job. And when I saw it, one of the reasons I loved it so much is because I still had that other Hulk movie in my head, that Ang Lee one. Oh my gosh, I did not like that movie. I thought this was a sequel to that. I'm glad it wasn't. And my expectations were low. And I really, really enjoyed that. How would you feel if you did a stream with your friends watching your guys' favorite movies? For example, your favorite Jurassic Park and Sean's favorite movie T2. Odd question. That's not an odd question. That would be fun to do. I'd love to do that. I've been doing that a little bit more with my friend Steve over on Film Trigger. He's been doing a lot more of these movie nights. We just did a watch party for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that was a lot of fun. So yeah, I could definitely see myself doing more stuff like that. So yeah, for sure. I am the Game Boy. Hey buddy, can't stick around, but wanted to stop by and say congrats. Thank you. I am the Game Boy. I am the Game Boy was there when Durbania started. So he is one of the first subscribers to Durbania and has been around for the last 5.5 years or so that Durbania has been here. And that's great because my first year doing this channel, I didn't know what I was doing. I don't even count the first year. I didn't know about SEO or anything to get things visible. I've learned so much since then. So I don't even count year one. Oh, man. What did you think of the Gotham TV show? I got 5 episodes in and stopped watching it. And I think the reason is, for me to enjoy a cop show, it just takes a lot for me to get into those. It's just not my favorite genre of show. And when I was first watching Gotham, it just felt like Smallville without the power. Smallville without the interesting thing about it. So I just didn't stick with it. I keep hearing how great it is and how much better it got. And I looked up online and saw pieces of the series finale, and I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting where it actually ended up going. But it wasn't my favorite. And I have one of my good friends who absolutely loves Gotham trying to convince me to get back into it. So the day may come that I dive back into Gotham, but that's where I'm at right now. I got 5 episodes in and just couldn't do it. What is your most overrated movie? You ready for me to get in trouble? I think one of the most overrated movies is Pulp Fiction. Movies and Train Studios. Hey, dude, what is up? How you guys doing? Let's see. Have you ever considered somehow applying apologetics to your channel? You're very good at picking up on themes and meaning, which is likely a different way of thinking, but still. You know, I've thought about apologetics. And for those of you who don't know what apologetics is, it's just a defense of the faith. And so I've thought about doing that, things where I defend Christianity and defend faith. But honestly, I really love just digging into the movies and pulling out those themes and diving into those themes. Now, for a movie like The Case for Christ that came out a few years ago, that's one where I could, definitely pick up on those themes and dive into apologetics more. The thing that's hard for me with apologetics is I know what I believe and why I believe it, and I can state that. I'm not always the best arguer or debater, but it's because I don't always like arguing and debating. I want to speak the truth in love, and I want you to see Christ in me through the example of my life. So I love apologetics. There are so many, like C.S. Lewis, one of my favorite apologetic writers out there, period. So there's a lot of great stuff out there. I just haven't quite dived into it myself. Let's see here. What is up, Seth Draven? I got some stuff to do, so I can't stay long, but I figured I'd stop by real quick and say hi and congratulations on 8K. Thank you so much, Seth. I really appreciate that. I actually had Seth on my channel not too long ago with his dad, Steve, of Film Trigger, and we got into the Snyder Cut of Justice League. We had so much fun with that. So, hey, Frank, happy 8K subs, brother. Much deserved. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. What is your favorite CW show besides Smallville? Boy, that's hard. I would say the first 2 seasons of Arrow would be my favorite besides Smallville. I only made it 6 seasons into Arrow, and I just gave up. Like, it lost me. And same thing with The Flash. I think I got 3 seasons in The Flash, kind of was half there for the 4th season, and then quit watching that too. But like The Flash, especially its first 2 seasons were really good. So in order, I would say Smallville, number 1. The Flash, its first 2 seasons at number 2, with Arrow and only its first 2 seasons at number... Wait, did I get that backwards? It would be Smallville number 1, Arrow number 2, and The Flash. This is what you get when you get me live. But yeah, that's how I would order it. I would say the other 2 shows I like are Arrow and Flash, but only in their first 2 seasons before it got all whatever. Is Smallville your all-time favorite show? If not, what is your all-time favorite show? Gosh, that's hard. There's a lot of great shows. I would say in terms of superhero shows, Smallville is probably one of my all-time favorite shows. I mean, it's just such a great take on the character of Superman and his origins, and it did such a good job bringing me in. In terms of comedies, I would probably say The Office is up there as an all-time favorite. Arrested Development, not the new seasons Netflix did, but the original 3 seasons as they aired. I mean, that would be one of my all-time favorites. Let's see, what else? Oh, Parks and Rec, definitely. I love Parks and Rec. And then my current favorite show that I'm just digging and waiting for the next new episode. So Dallas Jenkins, drop the next episode. Kidding. Anyway, The Chosen. It's a very, very good show, and that's definitely worth your time to check out. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to answer that question, but I'd say in terms of superhero shows, it's definitely Smallville as my all-time favorite. Favorite Spider-Man, Batman, and MCU, DCU film. Mine is Spider-Man 2002, Dark Knight, and ain't a massive DC fan, but probably would be Justice League 2021. Okay. So favorite Spider-Man, Batman, and MCU DC film. I think my favorite Spider-Man movie is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Favorite Batman one. Oh, man. I would probably go with The Dark Knight, and that's mostly because of Heath Ledger. If you want my favorite Batman film because of Batman, yes, I'm sorry, nostalgia plays a role in this, the 1989 Batman. I just absolutely love that movie, but probably favorite, I love The Dark Knight, and I love it for Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker. So favorite MCU film and DCU film, I think my favorite MCU movie is still currently Endgame. Just absolutely love it. And I did this video called Avengers Endgame End Times. And if you check that out, you'll see what I think every time I get to that ending sequence. And it's one of the reasons why it's one of my favorite MCU films for sure. My favorite DCU film, if you're going to say not DCEU, but DCU film, oh, man. That's a hard one. Probably 1989 Batman or the 1978 Superman the movie with Christopher Reeve. Those are fantastic. With Man of Steel as a very close third because, I love Superman. How did you discover Smallville? Well, since I'm doing a Smallville podcast on a whole other channel called The Wall of Weird and have a whole series dedicated to Smallville on this channel, how did I discover Smallville? I discovered it. I remember being in high school. I think I was a senior. And I remember seeing the promos for it. And I didn't quite understand what it was because I always saw like the middle of the promos and didn't catch like the end where it told me exactly what it was. I discovered it probably no. Oh, I remember now. Thank you. This is a fun memory. I think my mom was flipping through the channels, found the premiere as it was premiering, and I came in about halfway through and went, wait, I've seen the promos for that. It's Superman, and I was hooked, and I really enjoyed it. Now, I missed them here and there until about halfway through season 2, and season 2 really hooked me. So I went back and found ways to binge all of season 1 and to find all the episodes that I missed. Same thing with season 2. And ever since then, I was a faithful viewer. So it was just, I was a senior in high school when that show aired. And it followed me from my senior year of high school through all of college, through moving to California and getting married, and till my first year of living in this house where I'm doing this live stream from. So it's just a show that has stuck with me for a long time. Thoughts on 24? Oh, this is going to be a fun question to answer because I have a horrible history with this show. And by that, I mean, I really love this show. But one of my best friends back in the day when we were in college and 24 was airing and when it was about to hit season 6. And so my friend had these 24 parties. So we'd go out. We'd get boneless wings. Then we'd go into my friend's basement and he'd have a high def screen and we were going to watch season 6 of 24. But he really wanted me to get caught up. But season 3 was his favorite season of 24. So that became the first season that I watched because he made me binge that with him, which of course blows all the secrets and all the spoilers for season 1. And after I saw season 3, it's like, oh, great. So I went back and found season 1 and I binged that. And it was incredible. Even with all the surprises blown, it kind of stunk that I knew how that was going to go because, man, I would have loved to have seen that without spoilers. But then, I wanted to hang out with all of my friends. It was like my friend and a bunch of other people with wings and all that stuff. And it's like, well, of course I got to watch season 6. I was so confused and it's spoiled so many things for the seasons to come after that. So I have seen in order season 3, season 1, and season 6. So I haven't gotten too deep into other seasons, but I will say I like 24, even though I have such a weird history with it right now. Have you ever seen Lois and Clark back in the 90s? Oh, yes. Yep, I have. I was a kid when that show was airing, and so I watched them here and there as they aired. And then when I was in college, I bought all 4 seasons on DVD and just binged through them all. It's cheesy as all else. I mean, it's campy, it's quirky, so it just kind of just depends. Like, if you could go into it with that expectation and knowing how cheeseball it's going to be, you could really enjoy it. But Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher, they were really great. It was overall pretty darn good Superman story. So a lot of good stuff in there. And so, yeah, it's definitely worth your time to check out, especially if you are a diehard Superman fan. Who's the better Batman? Oh, boy. Christian Bale or Ben Affleck? I don't know. Are you just trying to get me in trouble with a question like this? Let's see. I like the... I don't know. You know what? I like the Ben Affleck Batman because he moves. He can actually turn his head and physically fight. The Christian Bale movies, we actually got solo Batman in a trilogy, and it was overall an incredibly good story. So for the story, I love the Christian Bale Batman. For the Batman himself, the Christian Bale voice, my throat would hurt just listening to him do that voice. And I like Ben Affleck with the voice modulator, and I thought that was better. And I like how much easier he could fight and move in the costume. So for that reason, I think I like the Ben Affleck Batman better. But for other reasons, like the story and stuff, the Christian Bale one just has a great story. Dimension Scott, movies, trains, and studios. Oh, okay. You're replying to him. Let's move over here. Seen Daredevil and The Punisher on Netflix. I really like these two, even though the later seasons weren't that good. So Daredevil is hands down the absolute best. And I think Daredevil got better as it progressed. In season 2, when they brought in The Punisher, that was awesome. That was the best I've ever seen the Punisher portrayed. As soon as the Punisher did his own show, I couldn't stand it anymore. I thought season 1 was so boring. For a show called The Punisher that had such potential to be like a John Wick action-packed series, I was bored so much in the first season. I did like the second season of Punisher better, but nothing beats to me how he was portrayed in season 2 of Daredevil. In season 3 of Daredevil, love it. I even got a theological analysis up on season 3, because that season was so incredibly deep. It was so easy to get in there and pull out those themes. So, man, I love that third season. That was just so incredibly good. So let me scan through here. Let's see if I missed anything really, really good. Did I get you, Chris? If you redid MCU and DCU 31 to 31 ranking, where would the Snyder Cut fall? Oh, yeah. That 31 on 31 ranking was incredibly intense. I know it made it too for your DCU ranking by itself, but where is it in the big MCU and DCU ranking combined? I thought about that once, and I thought about doing, sometimes when I do those, I call them the ultimate rankings when I do them by myself to bring in DC and Marvel. So I've thought about that, and it would be high up there though. I mean, it would probably be in the top 5. If not, it would definitely be in the top 10 for sure. In terms of an actual number, I would seriously have to sit down and put a list in front of me and think about it. But I'm pretty sure it would be top 10, probably top 5. So let's see. Who else did that one? Here we go. This is interesting. Allow me to list good Christian media: Hacksaw Ridge, Chariots of Fire, Amazing Grace, and a TV show named Highway to Heaven. I haven't seen Highway to Heaven, but that could be worth definitely checking out. Hacksaw Ridge is amazing. It is amazing. Traditionally, not a huge fan of Christian media, but Hacksaw Ridge, The Chosen, Risen, I'm trying to think of anything else. I thought Passion of the Christ, like all of those are things that break that rule, and I really like. I think I've seen Chariots. Have I seen Chariots of Fire? I might have seen that one. It's probably been a long time. I saw Amazing Grace. I did enjoy that one. So yeah, there are definitely exceptions to the rule for me, for sure. Let's see. Aaron Johnson, what are your thoughts, Durbin, on Good Morning Vietnam with Robin Williams? The film is fun because of Robin Williams' comic timing, though Bruno Kirby and JT Walsh seem to be not funny in the film. I haven't seen that movie in a very long time. But Robin Williams was brilliant in it. I mean, for what I remember of that movie and his whole Good Morning Vietnam, but also the fact like he realized how much of that news was being censored and how he went to grab the news right as the guys were about to scribble out the stuff that should be censored out. Like, he did a really good job, like being comedic and having that great timing and being serious. But Robin Williams just has such a great knack for that. I miss that guy so much. Let's see here. Do you not find the length of Justice League jarring? Whenever I watch it again, it will be in 2 parts. Truth is, I don't. If it's a good movie, I don't care how long it is. Like, for instance, I only buy the extended editions of Lord of the Rings. I don't want the theatrical cuts. It's not that they're bad. They are very good. But the extended edition is absolutely mind-bogglingly good. I understand why they cut it, because they wanted it to be able to run more on screens and make more money. And so then, of course, when you release it on Blu-ray, or back in those days, DVD, you can put those scenes back in and make it as long as you want. So like I've already been conditioned for the Snyder Cut for great movies like Ben-Hur and, you know, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, like these type of things. Like if it's really good and it's really engaging, I don't mind it at all. I don't always have time to do it in one setting. So one of the things I like about the Lord of the Rings extended cut Blu-rays is you got about an hour and a half to 2 hours on one disc, and then it ends, and then you put in the second disc. And so that's always a good stopping point. And it's the same thing probably for me with Snyder Cut. Like I probably watched it 4 times, the full length, all the way through. And I can divide that up pretty easy. I like how they did the chapters, but the length is not something that I find daunting. But I am also weird, and I'm also begging for more 4-hour superhero movies. So come on, Marvel. I'm waiting. You are close with Endgame. Just add another hour to it. Make it even more epic. 2 unrelated questions. 1, which Walden Media Narnia movie is your favorite? 2, who is your favorite Marvel character from either comics or movies or animation? I'd probably say my favorite Walden Media, Walden Media Narnia movie would be The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. It was the most faithful to the book, and they really did such a good job keeping it faithful to the book. So I really did enjoy that one. Who is your favorite Marvel character from either comics, movies, or animations? So when it comes to Marvel, I know best from the movies. And I'm going to have to go, Spider-Man. Because honestly, no matter who's played Spider-Man, like the Tobey Maguire movie just is not my absolute favorite. I like the Andrew Garfield ones, and my favorite so far is Tom Holland. But I just find that even, I don't know, in every iteration, I just seem to like Spider-Man. So I think Spider-Man would probably be my favorite, followed by Iron Man. I think Robert Downey Jr. did such a great job bringing that character to life. So let's see. Let's scroll through here. Let me make sure I haven't missed anybody. Let's see. If I've missed you and I haven't read your question yet, please be sure to repost that. I know this is a bit of a personal question, but did you ever get bullied a lot in school? Oh, of course. I was skinnier than I am now and more hyper than I am now. But I was stronger than most people thought. I mean, one of these bullies was trying to, give me a swirly, and I grabbed a hold of the doorknob to that bathroom, and I would not let go, and they were tugging and trying to pull me in there, but I would not let go. So they left me alone. So, Let's see. I remember your review of A Nightmare on Elm Street. How long till you review the rest of the franchise? Cody Leach has asked me that very same question. I might pick that up as we get closer to Halloween again, because I am curious to dive into some of those sequels and see what else they did. So, I will probably, as we get closer to Halloween, look at what movies I can do theological analyses of, and I'll definitely look at some of these Nightmare on Elm Street sequels. Ever see Wolf on Wall Street? That's a long film I love. I have not seen that one, but that is a good suggestion. Favorite sports films? So I'm not very much into sports, but I will say I think Remember the Titans is probably going to be my all-time favorite. Close to that one is actually a good Christian film called Facing the Giants. I actually did enjoy that one. And Mighty Ducks. Yeah, I loved the first Mighty Ducks and the third Mighty Ducks. What is up, Ken? How are you doing? Have you seen Hamilton, and do you like it? I couldn't finish it. It just was not my cup of tea. Not trying to knock the talents that were involved in making it. It just was not my cup of tea. I got a couple songs into that, and I was like, I'm done. So that's just kind of where I was with that one. I love people like you who I can disagree with and still be on good terms without being a complete jerk and total jerk. Thanks for being awesome like that. Well, thank you so much, Dale. I really do try to be awesome like that because it does stink. You want to engage another channel or somebody else that has a different point of view than you. But, in this world, it's difficult. Like if I say I don't absolutely hate The Last Jedi, can you imagine how many people are going to comment and get all nasty? I mean, come on. Come on. It's a movie. Let's have fun. Let's talk about it. Let's see. Past Nightmare 4, it's a rough ride. And even as a popcorn film, it and even as a popcorn film. Wait, hold on. Sorry. Past Nightmare 4, it's a rough ride, and even as a popcorn fun film. Well, yeah, I guess when you keep producing these things and just trying to milk them dry, eventually it just is dry. So, wow. Let's see. I'm just kind of scrolling through here to see if you have any other questions. We've been going for almost an hour, guys. This has been a blast. I always love doing these things with you. It's so fun to be able to just hang out with you guys, have you ask me whatever you want to ask me. And again, just to say thank you. I mean, I hit 8,000 subs, probably, what was it, Thursday or something? And then now, like 4 or 5 days later, it's like 8,050 subs. So it's just picking up. And I just want to say thank you all so much. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. Let's see. Got a new question here. Hello, Dash Dash. As a Christian, what is your opinion of Pokemon? I am an avid player of Poho. Well, I don't know much about Pokemon. I've only played a few things here and there. Most of what I know about it comes from my brother-in-law, like who's more of a Pokemon fan. From what I've seen as a Christian, I don't really have anything against it. And, the Pokemon movie with Ryan Reynolds, I enjoyed. I mean, it wasn't my favorite movie of all time, but as far as video game movies are concerned, it really was pretty decent. Have you seen the movie Frailty? I think you would really like that one. I have not. So I will have to, Pogo. Haha. That makes more sense. No, I haven't played that one. Favorite Kendrick's Brothers movies. Mine is Courageous. I would probably say Facing the Giants or Courageous. I don't know what it was about Facing the Giants. It just did a really good job bringing me into the story. Courageous ticked me off. And the fact that in one scene, I would be laughing so hard, I'd be crying. And then in another scene, I would just be crying. So I feel like Courageous is a movie I don't watch that much because of that roller coaster. So what I like about the Kendrick's Brothers is it definitely does have some of that Christian movie cheese on it. Like some of that cheesiness is still there. But overall, I think they do a good job with their characters as they're writing and kind of pulling me in. So I do like a lot of the Kendrick's Brothers movies. So let's see here. Let's see. Do you play Pokemon Go? I did for a while. I got into that craze with everybody else. I didn't stick with it as long as everybody else because, I don't know, my Pokemon kept morphing. Some of them I couldn't find. It's just like, okay, come on. Let's see. Joel, are you working on any of your own stories? Anything we could look forward to reading or watching? Any screenplays in your future? No, a lot of my creative energy is flowing towards like different ideas for this channel and movies to watch, how to dig into those movies, unique angles that I could hit with those movies. I mean, I came up with different story ideas in the past. I was in when I did back in my community theater days, I was in just this awful Dracula play. I mean, so bad. Like the writing, it was awful. I don't know why it came out as bad as it did. But I started thinking, I bet I could write a better version than this. And, I did. I started an outline and I had ideas and I had things written. So I had like a really cool idea for like a Christian perspective on a vampire story. I couldn't regurgitate a lot of that to you now. So I used to come up with like a lot more story ideas than I do now. But there's a lot of stuff that is in there. So I don't know. Maybe I should sit down and think about that a little bit more. But yeah, I haven't really brainstormed writing a story in a long time. Favorite character of Justice League. I did not like the Flash and Aquaman. And Batman and Wonder Woman were okay. I love Cyborg. And shame we won't get a solo film. Yeah, it is a shame that we won't get a solo film with Cyborg. That really does stink. Oh, man. Favorite character in Justice League. I mean, I honestly did like the Flash. I thought he was fun, and it was kind of cool to see him in slow motion and how gently, like, he would move Iris around and bring her gently down to the street. So things like that I thought were pretty cool. I did like getting to know Cyborg so much better, right? I mean, just to really get to know his character and get to see his power set. Now, that's something I haven't explored a whole lot with the character of Cyborg, and it was very cool to see his power set. And so they did a really great job ending with that really great scene with him in the mother boxes. And I don't know if I'm talking spoilers, so I don't want to spoil it for you if you haven't seen it, but it's just awesome. And they do such a great job with that. Superman, though, always my favorite. I love Henry Cavill as Superman, and I love seeing how Superman's resurrection in this movie, it's like I got justice. So that was, yeah. Have you ever watched the Gifted Marvel series? I have. I think I got either the first full 2 seasons or the first full. I watched the first full season for sure. I think I might have only done half the second season. I don't know why I stopped watching. One of you have the shows where you're watching it, and something shiny catches your attention, and it's not like you mean to abandon that show. It's just you kind of don't go back. That's what happened to me with Gifted, but I thought overall it was pretty good. Let's see. What about Deadpool? Do you watch the movies? I do watch the movies. I thought the first Deadpool was pretty hysterical. The second one, not as much. I mean, it had some hysterical moments in it, things that I really enjoyed, but it just, I don't know. To me, it just didn't hit that same level that the first movie hit. It felt like it was trying to hit the same level that first movie hit. So, yeah. Freddy Krueger or Michael Myers? Both are freaky, right? I feel like no matter how many times you knock down Michael Myers, he gets up, and Freddy Krueger is in your dreams. What do you do there? But, oh, man. I don't know. I'd probably pick Michael Myers. That first Halloween movie I did enjoy. I hope Stan Lee knew the Lord. I do too, my friend. I do too. And I hope all of us watching here could come to truly know the Lord. Ever think there will be a worse superhero film than Batman and Robin? Oh, I'm sure it's coming. I am sure it's coming. I mean, some might argue maybe Justice League could be worse than Batman and Robin. Actually, I wouldn't argue that, no. But it's coming. I think it's very possible, and somebody's going to find out how to set that new low. Somebody is going to do it. Rank the 3 Spider-Man actor war films from worst to best. So, Tobey Maguire, Hacksaw. Oh, okay. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland. Oh, okay. So the Spider-Mans who were in the war movies. I didn't see Cherry, so I don't know how to rank that, but I definitely would pick, let's see, from worst to best. Hacksaw Ridge would have to be my number 1. That was so unbelievably good. Yes, it's called Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, worse than Batman and Robin. You know what? Yeah, that one was pretty good. How old are you? 24 here. 37 right here. Elektra was pretty awful. Yeah, Elektra was not a good one. But you know what? Daredevil was not a good one. Poor Ben Affleck. I mean, that one had the potential. It just was not good. How many movies have you given an F to? I think only 2. To The Apple and to Alien 3. And now that was me giving such a gut reaction. Oh my gosh, look at this. Hold on. Let me return to your question here in 1 second. This is the first ever super chat I have ever gotten in my life. So Nathan Oswald, thank you so much for that super chat. I tremendously appreciate it. Wonder Woman 84 is worse than Batman and Robin. At least BNR is way more entertaining. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I would agree with that, but I understand your sentiment because I watched Zack Snyder's Justice League, and that 4-hour movie felt like a 2-hour movie, and Wonder Woman 84 is a 2-hour movie that felt like a 4-hour movie. It was just too slow paced for what it was. So, man, thank you so much for that super chat. I greatly appreciate it. So I was right here, right? How many movies have you given an F to? So The Apple, which you can check out my review for that. It's hilarious. Cody Leach joined me on that. The other one I gave an F to also involves Cody Leach, Alien 3. And that was very reactionary because I had really just watched Aliens and then hit play on Alien 3. And so I was very angry right from the get-go with how it started. I feel like I want to go back and give that a more fair shake. And everybody keeps telling me that there's better cuts out there too. And so I think I might, maybe that's a good idea for a video, to give that one another shot for sure. So, good question. Forgot Superman in that question. Never seen Superman other than Batman v Superman, but Justice League. But yeah, I heard Superman 4 is garbage. Superman 4 is garbage, but here's the thing about Superman 4. I think it's hysterically fun. Like, it is fun to just sort of watch that. Let's see. Have you ever watched Jeepers Creepers? He's probably an underrated scary character. I actually have not watched Jeepers Creepers. Looks a little creepy in the trailers, but I have not checked that out. Will you please get permission from DC to make your Justice League from Pitch Wars into a graphic novel at least? I would love to do that, Chris. You don't know how much I would love to do that. But I appreciate the fact that from that Pitch Wars video that you liked my Justice League. Cody Leach's Batman story, I thought was astounding. And that at least needs a graphic novel for sure. So if you don't know what we're talking about, just type in Pitch Wars. And the first Pitch Wars video that pops up is me and Cody Leach. And we are not arguing, we're pitching our screenplays for DCEU films. And so he pitched a solo Ben Affleck film that is amazing that would have come before BVS, and I did my own version of Justice League. So that was just so much fun. You look pretty good for 37. Well, thank you. I try to hide hairs that are turning gray. I don't know if you're willing to discuss video games, but you could discuss theological themes in Halo. Life is Strange, Phoenix Wright, Flower, Journey, Dust, and Elysian Tale, Ori, and the Blind Forest. So I played Ori and the Blind Forest. That game frustrated me to no end. Not that it was a bad game. It was a good game. But sometimes puzzle games just get me absolutely stuck. You know, I started to do a few video game things here and there. And that's not the main focus of my channel, but it's also not a bad idea because I have actually thought about that. What theological themes can I find in video games? I tried one with Mario Kart. Not my favorite. But that was also me making a joke at my impatience with some of like those Rainbow Road levels where I keep flying off the road, and how sometimes when we just throw down that controller and certain words come flying out of our mouth, it's like, oh, hey, look at that. The pressure was on. Showed me something about myself that maybe I could change just a little bit. But yeah, so anyway, I've thought about that. So that might be something I think about developing more. A good idea to go through Halo. I haven't played those games in so long, but I remember really liking those Halo games. No, the Apple was rated Apple. Yes, that's true. I gave Alien 3 an F, but I gave the Apple the grade, the Apple, because it was so bad. I went below an F and made my own grade for that. And no other movie has ever gotten there. Green Lantern was a dumpster fire. I'm not going to argue with you on that one. I don't think Wonder Woman 84 is as bad as people make it out to be. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. The first time I watched it, I enjoyed it. The second time I watched it, it felt so much slower than even the first time I watched it. And I feel like I keep poking holes in it. Like I've only been able to watch it twice, and I have not had that desire to go back and watch it a third time. And normally, like I'm a completionist, so I like to have the whole collections of things. And I don't feel a great urge to go out and buy Birds of Prey or Wonder Woman 84. Like, it's not like I dislike them entirely, but they're not movies I want to go back to. Captain America 1990 is absolute garbage. Going back to our conversation, is anything worse than Batman and Robin? Yes, I know it came before Batman and Robin, but I still wanted to mention it. Well, Superman 4 came before Batman and Robin, and we got plenty of mentions there. Let's see. Sean says, Alien 3, I cannot get through. Never watch it again. I ain't a massive Alien fan, but Alien 3 is a poor sequel. Yeah, I mean, that was my initial reaction as I was watching that too. So, wow, look at this. We are really opening the doors here on Wonder Woman 84. Wonder Woman 84 was so boring. It was very slow. It was way slower than it had any right to be. Any movies you won't watch? Man, that's kind of hard. I mean, if there's anything like I don't know. I mean, movies that are meant to be gross just to be gross and for no other reason than to be gross, I don't really get into those. Certain horror movies where they really deal with demonic possession, like real demons possessing people, I'm sitting there going, that's a real reality. And when people start messing with a reality that they don't understand, I kind of like stay away from things like that. But otherwise, I really do love finding good movies, getting into good movies, and finding deeper theological themes in movies. It's a lot of fun. Ever see Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, best Batman animated film? I have. It has been a very, very long time. So grateful for HBO Max. Batman Beyond is on there. I think Return of the Joker is on there. So I would love to watch that again. But yeah, I remember, I think I saw it. Man, I was young when I saw it, but I remember really, really liking it. And the thing that I remember most is how Damian beats the Joker. And I think that's what I remember most out of that film. So I'm definitely going to have to go back. Hello, Rope Crewman 36. Responding to Dimension Scott. I am so hesitant to watch Woman 84 because of how terrible so many people say it is. But also, I know people who enjoy it, and I love the first one, so I don't know. You know what? To weigh in on that, you have to separate it from all the rest of the Snyderverse because it truly breaks continuity. And you just kind of got to accept it for what it is. And there's a huge weird thing in there that if they addressed it right, could have been a very powerful thing, but they didn't address it right. And so, yeah, others who have seen it know exactly what I'm talking about as soon as they say that. So I don't know. I mean, if you have HBO Max and it pops up on HBO Max, I would think just check it out. I mean, come on. It's Wonder Woman and it's DC. But if you lower your expectations, listen to what others are saying that it's not a good movie because it's really not the best. But when you go in with lower expectations, it's a wonder what those could do. Pun not intended. It's a wonder what that could do for you. What's up, Joel? What's your best pitch for a Star Wars film or trilogy? I'd want to follow King Akin to David and see him unite the galaxy against a great evil. I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, are you referring to like the Star Wars extended universe? I don't know tons about that. I've only been getting deeper into it with like a lot of the animated stuff that I've found on Disney Plus. Like, man, I loved Clone Wars. That show turned out way better than I ever thought. And oh my gosh, why am I not remembering the sequel series to Clone Wars, Rebels? And I really liked Rebels. I think Rebels would be a good film trilogy. Like if you could take those characters and, because the way that show ended, I wouldn't mind some kind of trilogy that picks up where that show ended and goes forward. That would be really, really interesting. So that would be a Star Wars trilogy I'd be really curious about. Something that I'd really love to explore. There was this episode in Clone Wars where they're on this planet that is like the Force manifested as a planet, and there's the dark side, the light side. There's like a father on that planet, and he's got his daughter who's the light side of the Force, his son who's the dark side of the Force. They're like the physical manifestations of those two sides and how balance needs to be brought. It was one of the most amazing, like 3 or 4 part series of episodes on Clone Wars. Take that and turn that into a movie. I mean, those are like trilogies I would absolutely love to see. I picture myself watching Cody Leach's Gotham every time I watch Pitch Wars. Same with your version of Justice League. That's awesome, Chris. Again, if you guys are just joining and you have no idea what we're talking about, search Pitch Wars. It's on Cody Leach's channel, and we did a great Pitch Wars for movies we would do for DC. And I'm so glad, Chris, that you like my Justice League thing, because, I mean, I was doing my best to compete with Cody, but I myself was enamored with his Batman story. It was so good. So good. Yep, check it out. You might enjoy it. Let's come over here. Have you guys watched Tenet yet? It would be great to hear your thoughts. Actually, I just saw today that it popped up on HBO Max. So that might be something coming in the not too distant future. Because of COVID and so many other things, I just did not get around to seeing Tenet. It was just one of those ones that fell off the radar. My wife watched it, and her initial reaction to it is she did not like it. She said she was too confused. And then I've heard other people who say the same, and then other people who say it's an absolute masterpiece and one of the absolute best things. So I'm going to be very curious to what my thoughts will be when I finally sit down and watch it. So that could be a video coming out here in the not too distant future. Let's see. Wait, hold on. CP is going to talk about a filmmaker named Neil Breen soon. Neil Breen makes the Apple look like aliens in comparison. Okay. I will look forward to that, to make the Apple look like aliens. Woo! Oh my gosh. Let's see here. To be fair, Wes Craven's New Nightmare and Freddy vs. Jason are okay, but Nightmare 5 and 6 and remake are bad. Well, that's good to know. Like, I've heard a lot of those general things getting deeper into those movies. Wow, I love how active you guys are. We're an hour and 9 minutes in, and let me just take this moment just again to say thank you for 8,000 subscriptions. Thank you for this time just to hang out with you guys, to be able to read your comments here live and respond to you live. I love this opportunity, and I'm so grateful to have over 8,000 subscriptions now. That's absolutely incredible. And I'm taking myself through a process of learning all kinds of new things about YouTube right now. So I'm just excited for the future and what's going to be coming down. And I just want to say thank you all so much for being here now today. It's just a blast to be able to hang out with you. So let's go through here. Let's go. My dream is to create my own cinematic universe on YouTubers. The YouTube cinematic universe. Let's see here. I have not seen the Jeepers Creepers franchise. Let's see. Do you wish you could time travel to 1938 to purchase Action Comics #1 in mint condition, new and off the newsstand? I got to admit, that would be pretty awesome to go back in time and have that first ever Superman edition. I'm a Star Wars trilogy sequel lover. Do you agree? Star Wars no matter what? Well, I love Star Wars no matter what, and I don't hate the sequel trilogy. I love Episode 7, The Force Awakens. I thought that was a lot of fun. I don't care that it kind of ripped off. Well, I wouldn't say ripped off, but paid homage to A New Hope, and it did follow a lot of the same beats. And I love the setup that it gave. I think the weakest one for me is The Last Jedi. There's still some interesting concepts in that one. And I think where it begins to lose me is because I think you could tell Brian Johnson just wanted to, I don't know, flip everything over on its head, right? So JJ set all this stuff up, and rather than continuing forward or having a plan, Ryan Johnson just, kind of undid what JJ did. So JJ undid what Ryan did and then tried to redo what he did. And I think that's where this trilogy gets weaker. But there's still good things in the sequel trilogy that I do enjoy. And right now I'm loving The Mandalorian. Like, those first 2 seasons are beyond incredible. And so, yeah, let me just scroll through here, make sure I'm not missing anybody else. There's the time travel question. Let's see. What do you think is a underrated book series and author? Oh, man. I think a definite underrated book series and author is Ted Decker. He has written some incredibly good things, and I don't know why it's not out there. I mean, C.S. Lewis dove into some great fantasy with the Chronicles of Narnia, and same thing with J.R.R. Tolkien, and it's classics to this day. And I think Ted Decker did this series called The Circle Saga, and it's really good. Like, it's incredibly interesting. You have this guy, his name is Thomas Hunter, and it's like, it opens intense. This dude shoots at him, and the bullet grazes his head, and he passes out, and he wakes up in this dark forest with like these man-eating bats and flies eating his skin. He trips and falls, hits his head, and he wakes up, and he's back in our world, and he falls asleep, and he wakes up, and he's in the dark forest. He comes through the dark forest to a colored paradise forest. And so he crosses the bridge away from the black bats to this other land. And like, it's just so incredibly interesting. And it turns out he's falling asleep in our world and waking up in that world, which is the future of our world. But the key to saving both worlds is in each world. So if he wants to save the present, he's got to get the clues from the future. And if he wants to save what's happening in the future, he's got to get clues from the past. And it's so good. Anyway, people should read The Circle Saga by Ted Decker. The first book is called Black. So anyway, yeah, that's me getting deep into that series. But that is a fun series, and I don't know why, more people have not read it. It's just good. Durbin, ever seen The Fugitive with Harrison Ford, as well as the sequel, U.S. Marshals? There's also a film called Frantic and a parody film called Wrongfully Accused with Leslie Nielsen. Thoughts? I think I've seen Wrongfully Accused. That's been a long time. These I have seen. I think I've seen U.S. Marshals, but I don't really remember. I know I've seen Fugitive with Harrison Ford, but I was really young, and it has been a very long time. But I do remember enjoying them. So, yes. Let's see here. Dude, yes to the Star Wars Extended Universe. I recommend the comic series Star Wars Legacy and Cade Skywalker. Well, thank you for those recommendations. I will have to go check those out for sure. Favorite Star Wars by process of elimination. Mine is Revenge of the Sith. Only Star Wars film only Star Wars film I have seen, never been my franchise. Got it. Yeah, I like Revenge of the Sith. And, Star Wars is either something you love or something you don't love. I really like Star Wars, and I especially love the original trilogy. I want to create the Amalgam Cinematic Universe with Marvel and DC characters. Yes. Spider Bat, Super Captain, and other. Oh, I see. Literally combining them. In which case I would think you would want Tony Wayne because instead of Tony Stark, and then he could have a really cool like mech Batman suit or something like that. Let's see here. Hey, Oscar, who would feature in this YouTube crossover? Oh, okay. In the YouTube cinematic universe. I see what that's a response to. I'd be curious about that too. Who would you feature in this YouTube cinematic universe crossover? Are you a South Park fan? It's kind of a guilty pleasure show for me. I do like that they're equal opportunity offenders. It's not like they pick a side and try to offend everybody on the opposite side. They make fun of themselves even, and I do like that. Sid, perfect. Welcome. Agreed. Ted Decker is awesome. Yeah, I really like Ted Decker. He's got a good way of writing. It just feels very energetic and intense, and it just kind of keeps you in there. Did you read AD 30 by Ted Decker? I thought that was a pretty good one myself. Dash. Underrated author is Christopher Poloni. Aragon series. You know, I liked that series. I liked it better in the beginning. It kind of teetered for me at the end, but it's definitely way better than that movie for sure. Durbin, if you could dress up as any character, who would it be and why? I would dress up as Superman because he is my absolute favorite superhero. Or I would dress up as the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. I've always been more of a Star Trek fan than Star Wars fan. That's awesome. I mean, I like both. And I've just been watching Star Trek Discovery and kind of catching up on that. I think that one's pretty good. It's kind of weirder than all the other ones that are out there, but I kind of like how different it is than all the other ones. Picard, that's a really great one. Favorite so far is Star Trek The Next Generation. I've seen all of the original movies with Captain Kirk, but I haven't really gotten into the original series. So I do like Star Trek. I like its exploration of the future and characters and, you know, their technology. Like there's a lot of stuff in it that I think is very cool. Have you ever watched American Gangster with Denzel Washington? Yeah, it was the second date I did with my wife, Laura. And I forget the entire movie because I spent that whole movie super nervous about how do I hold her hand. Let's see. Said perfect. Thoughts on Christopher Nolan? I like him as a director. I haven't seen Tenet, so I can't really comment on that. But, you know, I like what he did with Batman. I think he did a really good job with that. I'm trying to think of just the titles of some of the other movies. I can picture them in my head. But, yeah, anyway, I like him. Overall, I think he's good. And I especially like when Christopher Nolan and Hans Zimmer work together. Like, I love that dude's music. And you take Christopher Nolan's kind of epicness with Hans Zimmer music. Love it. I would feature YouTubers like Mr. Beast, Drama Alert, Kind Behind the Camera, and Chad Wildclay. That's a good little combination right there for your YouTube cinematic universe. It was good hanging out here. Congrats again, Durbin. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you coming on in here and hanging out with me. Would you want to see Disney purchase DC Comics? No. I would love to see somebody other than Warner Brothers have DC Comics. I don't want Disney only because even in the comics, DC is darker than Marvel. Even with Light Bright Superman, it still deals with a few darker things than Marvel. And I don't know. Disney does not need to own the world, but I would love to see what could be done with DC outside of the hands of Warner Brothers. I do sometimes think about that. Favorite Spider-Man villain mine is Norman Osborn, Green Goblin. Yeah, I liked Norman Osborn in the first Spider-Man movie. I thought he was good. I really did like Jake Gyllenhaal, though, in Spider-Man Far From Home. Like, I just thought they did a great job with his villainous character and the illusions that he's pulling over everybody. Will you ever do a Blu-ray collection? Michael, thank you so much for joining. Are you asking because Cody Leach just dropped a 7-hour one? Woo, that is a lot of Blu-rays. I definitely want to go over to his house and watch those movies, but maybe I could probably do a 7-hour one. I don't know if I have the energy to do a 7-hour one. So when Cody Leach dropped his, I thought about that for a second. I thought I could do that. I got tons of Blu-rays. Why not? I did it once a long time ago, like a long time ago. My collection has only grown since then. So we will see. We will see. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like my computer struggles with rendering as it is, and to render something that super for long. we'll have to wait and see. You're right about the idea of Iron Bat being that they're both rich, but I feel like Spider-Man and Batman have more similar villains. That is true. That could be very true. Have you ever watched This Is the End with Seth Rogen? Yes. That's the one I'm thinking about, right? Where they had the rapture and all that stuff in there. I thought it's interesting. Not my favorite, but they had this one breakdown in the middle of this movie where after the rapture happens and they're all sitting in a circle and they're talking about why were they left behind. And even though some of them have said some pretty outrageous, goofy things, what I liked about that scene is in some ways it was just this raw honesty that I feel like is absent from other Christian media, where they're just sitting there honestly going, I know exactly why I got left behind. But really, the truth is you need Jesus. Let's see. How do you feel about YA dystopian film adaptations such as Hunger Games, Maze Runner, etc.? I'm done with them. I don't want any more to come out. There's been too many. Hunger Games was okay. I liked the first movie. I liked the second movie. They messed it up with the third book. I mean, the third book, I already didn't like the ending. Like, I read the book. It did not like it. But the third movie was just even worse because splitting it in two, all the worst of that book, all the boring, slow stuff there, it wasn't that first thing. And then all the action in the second, I don't know. I'm done with it as a genre. I'm done with that genre. Maze Runner is probably the best for me out of that genre, though. Do you collect action figures? I have a few. Well, a few back here. Well, those are mostly, Funko Pops, but I have a few. My wife tells me I got a few coming in the mail, maybe involving Zack Snyder's Superman in the black suit and a certain dark side type villain. So I do collect a little bit, but I don't have a huge collection. Please give Supergirl another chance. Please give Supergirl another chance. Once I get the final season on Blu-ray, I'm rewatching all the episodes. I'll try to give it a second chance. I got through season 2 and I was done. I loved it when it was on CBS. I thought that first season was a lot of fun, but as soon as the CW took it, it just did not, it lost something. It just was not the same to me. Let's see. You could get through my Blu-ray collection in 5 minutes. I'm a DVD guy and I have a lot of movies on YouTube. Oh, there you go. Awesome. Have you watched the Harry Potter movies? Oh, let me tell you. A prerequisite to dating my wife was to read the Harry Potter books. And I had only seen a few of the movies hither and thither. And then I met Laura, and now I've seen all of them. So yes, I have all 8. I got all of the books and different versions of the books. The books that were printed and published here in America. Some of the first editions published in England. So yeah, my wife is a collector. She likes the Harry Potter. So yes, I have seen them all. And I think, did we do a theological analysis on it? Possibly. You have to go back and check. It's been a while. Speaking of apocalyptic films, have you seen The World's End with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost? The language is quite, but it's funny as heck. I feel like I've seen that one. I feel like I have. The fact that I'm not remembering it probably does not bode well, but I feel like I've seen that one. If you had to pick a favorite superhero television series, what would it be? Whether Marvel or DC? It's going to be Smallville. A favorite superhero television series is definitely Smallville. Favorite mafia film? Mine is Scarface. I don't really have one. I mean, I watched The Godfather, and I didn't really get into it. So definitely, yeah. Few Spider-Bat villains could include Joker and Green Goblin, Combined Lizard and Killer Croc, and Catwoman and Black Cat. Yeah, that could be a lot of fun. Well, guys, we are going on an hour and a half. This has been a lot of fun hanging out with you. So here's what I want to do. Let's hit 5 more good questions. 5 more. And then we'll go ahead and call it evening. And I'll take this opportunity again as I wait for those final 5 questions to pop up in the chat to say thank you so much. Over 8,000 subs. It means so much to me. I'm so glad to have you guys here, to have you guys on board, to have you watching and enjoying this channel. That means so much. And it's just awesome. It's just awesome to see this community grow. Here we go. Tom Welling or Grant Gustin, the way they run so fast on their shows. Dang. Welling. I'm going to go with Tom Welling just because I'm such a huge Smallville fan. So 4 questions to go. Want to do a review together sometime? Hey, Nathaniel Barton. Yeah, we'll have to do a review together sometime. I won't count that as... So we got 4 questions to go. All right. I'm in California, and this is what I do. I do this YouTube stuff and some freelance video editing. Let's see here. Have you seen any of the classics from 1930s to the 50s from Universal? I probably have seen a few here and there. Nothing that's really kind of just jumped out at me, but I think definitely throughout life on TV, I've run into a few here and there. I wish they could have got that new universe going. What's up, Brian? What's your favorite horror franchise you've seen so far? Do you prefer clever characters or clever themes? Idea from watching Cody Leach. Oh boy. I think what I would prefer is clever themes. And if I had a favorite horror franchise, I don't know about franchise, but In the Mouth of Madness is probably one of my favorites because of the theme. And so that was a very interesting movie. Another one that I liked, again, because of the theme, Stephen King's The Mist. And that's actually, to this day, one of my favorite theological analyses that I've done. Like, if you haven't checked that one out, check that out. So that's probably what I would say. I did enjoy the 1989 Pet Sematary. New one was still pretty good, but that old one was probably my favorite. So I don't know if I have a favorite horror franchise. Oh, and Fright Night. I did a great theological analysis on that one. Right? Is it Friday Fright Night? Oh my gosh. It was a good movie though. So definitely check that out. And I had a fun theological analysis with that. What videos of yours are you most proud of? Let's see. Wow, that's really difficult. I mean, there's a few on these that I've been really happy with. Like The Mist, I was really happy with the theological analysis of that one. Incredibly happy with how that one came out. Recently, I did that theological analysis for Zack Snyder's The Justice League called Hate is Useless. I thought that one was really, really good. I got some really good feedback on a lot of the videos I've done for The Chosen and diving into those episodes. And since that's a show that I just think is absolutely fantastic right now, I'm happy with a lot of the stuff that's coming out from that. So yeah, there's a lot of those that I really like and I think have come out really good. That's a good question. Thanks for asking. The World's End was about a bar crawl. Yes, thank you. There was a few twists halfway through it. I don't want to spoil it. I had a friend pause the movie and say, "What the actual F?" I have seen that. It has been such a long time, but I have seen that. Would you rather have Ben Affleck's Batman movie or Man of Steel 2? Oh my gosh. Well, I want both. But I'm a Superman fan, so if you're going to pose such a wicked question, then I'm going to go with Man of Steel 2. I definitely want Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill. I know that this is going to be hard, but what is your favorite moment of The Chosen? Let's see. My favorite moment of The Chosen. So, gosh. Okay. I actually dropped a video today, and I even said it in the video, but it is one of my favorite moments. It's when Nicodemus and Jesus are talking in episode 7 of season 1. And it's just that moment where Nicodemus realizes who Jesus is. It's like he knows, he's had the suspicion, but, he's talking about Mary. He tried to cast the demons out of her. And Jesus is the one who did it successfully. And he said, I told my students only God himself could have drawn those demons out. And here she is, healed. And here you are, the healer. Like, I love that moment. I think another moment that I love is season 2. And one of the things I love in season 2 is the way that they did Nathaniel's story, because I've read that scripture many times in the book of John where Jesus said, I saw you under the fig tree, and Nathaniel cries out, oh, you must be the Son of God. I'm like, what does that mean? What is the inside thing here that I'm not getting? And I love how they thought that through and how you see Nathaniel under the fig tree crying out to God because his life, his career, everything has collapsed around him. And then when he sees Jesus and Jesus says, I saw you under the fig tree. Oh man, that was such a great moment. I also love the healings, like the healing of the paralytic. That is just one of those moments that has really stuck with me. They did such a great job with that sequence of lowering him through the roof, the emotion of that scene, the power in that scene. Can you tell I could just keep going? Yes, you really did ask a very, very tough question there. So yeah, let's see here. I gotta go. Great stream. See you, and greetings to everyone. Thank you so much. Oh, man. Okay. How many questions have I answered? Let's do 3 more. Let's see. Are you a Pirates of the Caribbean fan? I am, but mostly of the first movie. The second movie was all right. The third movie I did not like at all. Fourth movie was all right. And then they kept going. I was like, come on, stop it. Stop it. So the earlier you go into Pirates, the more of a fan I am. Let's see. Okay, well, because this is a tough question. Nostalgia plays a crucial role in contemporary entertainment. It really, really, truly does. But what if something new caught your attention? How would you imagine that to be like? Oh my gosh, something new to catch my attention. What would that be like? Now that is a very good question. Because like seriously, all like everything has been done. But oh man, what would be something good and something that would catch my attention? Laura, what would catch my attention? I think she felt a John Wick style movie. Laura says a John Wick style. I gotta admit, when I first watched John Wick, it blew me away. And the fact that it's not a remake, a sequel, and it's just pure action and pure fun. Since you really can't do anything new, and it's like all the stories have it. Sorry, I just saw this comment. I hate the mist. You don't have to like it, but it's one of the theological analyses I'm the most proud of. So, nostalgia playing a really, really big role. Something new that would catch my attention. Just something that's not a sequel. You know, like just something like Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes, it's Marvel, and yes, there's comics that exist, but it's not anything I ever saw before, and I thought it looked stupid, or the idea sounded stupid, and then I saw that first trailer, and it blew me away. And it's one of those things that came out that was new, and it's not a sequel. So, like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to see. Man, that is really hard. Honestly, something sci-fi, something action-packed, and something that is not a Star Trek, Star Wars, or whatever, but let's explore something new with sci-fi. I mean, I think something like that would definitely catch my attention. See, you really got me stumbling there. That was a fantastic question. Thank you so much. Michael says, most watchable movie for you. Most watchable. There's a lot of movies that I find watchable. Jurassic Park is one, like my all-time favorite movie. I could go back and just watch all of my favorite scenes over and over again. Another one, incredibly watchable for me, is Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings so much. It's so rewatchable for me that I watched Fellowship of the Ring and realized I want this in 4K. Got it in 4K and rewatched Fellowship of the Rings again. Both times extended thing, and I really enjoyed catching all the differences, and it didn't bother me at all that I was rewatching it. So things like that, just incredible. What's your favorite Jurassic Park character? I dressed up as Dr. Alan Grant for Halloween. And it's not that he's a particularly charismatic character. I probably should say Ian Malcolm, but you know what? I like Dr. Alan Grant. I love that he just wants the truth. He just wants to dig in the dirt, get into the science, and learn about these dinosaurs. So I really like Dr. Alan Grant. So I think that's about it. I'm kind of just scrolling through here right now to make sure there isn't a question that I missed. Okay, this might be interesting. Would you like a Sam Raimi Spider-Man 4 if Tom Holland does not come back after No Way Home? I don't know. I mean, he's getting kind of old right now, Tobey Maguire, and we've jumped over a lot of time. And so, I mean, maybe if it came out then, but now probably not so much. If they do a live action Spider-Verse and that way, I think it'd be fun to see his character return. What type of games do you play? I play mostly Nintendo games. I love Super Mario Odyssey. I've played through that game so many times. I'm not a Zelda person, but I love Breath of the Wild, which is probably also why I liked that game Phoenix Rising. Like, that was a lot of fun because it had a lot in common with Zelda, and I really enjoyed it. So I do like a lot of those open world adventure games. I love Mario games. So those are the type of games that I really like and that I really get into. This looked like a really good question, and I'll make it my last one. Do you think animated movies can be as good or even better as the best of live action films? I think a lot of animated things can be way better than a live action thing. I mean, in some ways, I prefer live action. I mean, you know, I'm used to do a lot of acting, so I love watching actors actors act. So in that way, I prefer live action. But there are so many great things that you could do with animation and so many things that just look really beautiful in animation. So I do love animation. And I think animation movies can be as good and better than a lot of live action films. So for sure, 110%. So that's it. That is the final question. So let me say this again. Bye-bye, Dale. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you for that. Congratulations. And let me just say thank you all so much. 8,000 subs. My gosh, it's so cool to be here today. It's so cool to have such an active community like you guys. I mean, an hour and 34 minutes, and you guys kept the questions coming. We had a consistent amount of views. Like, seriously, you guys are the best community. I'm so excited to have you as watchers, viewers, commenters, subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. I want to say a huge thank you again to all of my patrons on Patreon. Let me just pull up their names here super fast as soon as I get there. So I want to say thank you to all of you guys for subscribing to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. It means more to me than you realize. And as you give that way, that's such an incredible thing. So thank you all so much. So I nearly knocked my mouse off the table. So with that, before I knock something off the table, I'm going to bid every single one of you a good night or a good morning, depending on where you are in the world. And this is still up, isn't it? Thank you all so much for your time, and thank you for being here today. I really appreciate hanging out with you all. So have a great evening. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. Hit that subscribe button and hit that bell so you're notified for all the new stuff that I'm doing. I dropped a great video for The Chosen today called The Path of Nicodemus, and that's only part one. It turns out like diving into that character was a huge deal. And so I had to actually divide that into 2 videos, and part 2 is going to be coming soon. And I'm going to have all kinds of more movie reviews, ranking videos, theological analyses. I always love getting your ideas for stuff you would love to see me do. So thank you so much for being an active part of this. Have a great evening. Thank you so much.